Welcome back to Ask Some Eagles.
I'm Shekinah.
And I'm Jackie.
And it's not Black History Month anymore, but we're Black every day of the week. Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
So the first question we have, someone asked about Black representation in media and what they can do better to attract Black people to it. So, Jacqueline?
All right, so we are basically gonna talk about like just Black representation in media and news and like on social media platforms. And so I think we're gonna start with we should also campus life. We should also talk campus life. So where do you want to start it?
So I'm not very into media. I don't watch many shows, and I've been trying to read books, but so I can't really speak on it. But what I can speak of is the disposable Black girlfriend trope, and how it really highlights how bad the writing is in certain shows. And the latest culprit is Yellow Jackets. Without spoiling it for Jacqueline, because she hasn't watched the show, the way that Thais' wife and her son gets pushed to the side to make way for her white girlfriend is kind of insane. It's crazy, and it just shows how bad the writing of Yellow Jackets has gotten. It's really ridiculous at this point. Yeah, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. So yeah, to kind of piggyback off of what Shania was saying, when we think about film and even television shows, even children's television shows, I know a lot of Nickelodeon and Disney shows also have the same kind of trope. It's they're not really well versed when it comes to the writers and the writing room on how to accurately write about Black characters, and so they tend to kind of fall off of using stereotypes and being very general in order to kind of capture the broader aspect of Blackness. But that's where they tend to fall short a lot, because as Black people, we're not a monolith. We are very diverse in skin tone and language and culture and religion. We're so different, and a lot of times it feels like we fall into this rigorous almost requirement for what is Blackness or how to show up as a Black person. And so a lot of times characters either get whitewashed or they are absolutely plain caricatures. So the best way I feel media could tackle it is by hiring Black writers. Talk to Black people. Go out there and see. And a lot of times we get characters that they tend to lack nuance, or they just lack character development. It's you can tell that they are playing what they think a Black person is. And so there either will be the whitewashed or Oreo girl, Black girl, or there's the I'm gonna stay away from names, but there are some names out there for quote unquote ghetto Black women, and the long nails and the colorful hair, which is an aspect of Blackness, which is beautiful, but it's such a fine line between accurately portraying someone of that background versus kind of making a mockery of it. So, Shania?
It's Shekinah.
So, I'm so sorry, Shekinah! Sorry, I was listening to Fiona Apple.
She has a song called Shania? Oh. Interesting. So yeah, I totally agree that they need to have Black people in the room while writing it. And not only that, when it comes to animated shows, when there's Black characters, can they be voiced by Black actors, please? Studios can do so much better in just including Black people. And, it goes a long way when it comes to correctly portraying Black people, so.
Absolutely. Some special mentions. I love Issa Rae. I feel that's what it means. Oh, also Taraji P. Henson, there's a whole bunch of them out there. But when Black women specifically are able to kind of break through in the industry, and then they're able to tell the Black narrative, tell the Black story with I don't know, beautiful language. It's especially if you're the awkward or you're the nerdy Black girl, I feel that's what they are. They embrace that, and they're able to really let us see what it is to be, a little bit socially awkward in Black, because, of stereotypes that people have, like, oh, that, Black people are rambunctious and loud and expressive. A lot of time it's, it doesn't apply to everyone, and, some people use that to suppress themselves. But I feel like having Black writers, having Black media students just in these fields really helps us grasp the full spectrum of Blackness and what it looks like in media.
Yeah, I think Jacqueline perfectly got it. She got it all. Yeah, nothing to add.
That. And then, we said we're going to talk about also within the media, but the broadcasting/news aspect, how Black crimes or Black statistics are represented, or even, anyone that's Black, and how they are shown in the media versus other people of color, specifically like white women. Have you heard of the missing white woman syndrome?
Yes, I have.
It's real. We're not making this up. But that's another thing we wanted to really talk about. It's like we need also people that are not just Black. I mean, we absolutely want them to be Black, but people who are trained, people who know how to talk about sensitive topics, people who know how to accurately report on statistics, without introducing biases to kind of warp the public's perception.
I do want to point something out. I know the whole media that you just talking about. I don't know if y'all heard, it's circulating on TikTok right now, but I don't know if y'all watched the Oscars, or no, not the Oscars, but it was like an award show.
The Grammys?
The Megan Thee Stallion interview, and you know how the lady, that interview, oh my god, I was like secondhand embarrassed. I'm like, can you not, like.
Wait, what happened?
She was just like, Megan, oh my god, I love your music. Every time I listen to music, I just want to like start fighting. We're like,
Whoa.
Pause.
Yes. Oh my god.
It's completely different. Like,
It is. Oh my god. This I love you, Lorena. I want you to be here forever. Yes, I did see that, and I was absolutely shocked because
I had to stop. I was like, whoa.
Exactly.
I don't relate to that at all.
That's such a great point. I think to kind of really, I guess, expand on what Lorena was saying, when it comes to how Black music or how Black artists are consumed, there is a bit of a disconnect, because when Black women, we listen to Megan or we hear about Megan, we think about confidence, we think about,
exactly.
Yes. It's empowering, feeling good.
Exactly, and that's the thing, like, it shows that she didn't even, like, listen to the lyrics.
Yeah.
Just, like, stereotyping it, just,
Exactly.
like, all that.
Exactly.
So I'm like, okay, no.
God, and all of us here, we are educated, we have higher education, and Megan sings about that. She sings about how she has her college degree. You say that. She always shouts us out, and we love you, Megan. And she just talks about female empowerment.
Yes. It makes me feel like confident. Every time I listen to her, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm good. I'm cool.
I was trying to remember one of her lyrics. She's like, does it look like I fight? Exactly. Yeah. Like I listen to Megan like every single day. Like I listen to one of her songs every day. Like what is she talking about? Like that appalled me. Like it that's my spirit. It upsets it.
Yeah.
Baby, what?
And that's the disconnect we're talking about when it comes to how music is consumed, specifically music that's curated by Black women or by Black artists, when the masses don't understand.
There needed to be a Black reporter in that place.
They did.
Like they bring out the white ones, for all the
Yeah. Absolutely. On that same note, I think this was was it the Emmys or the Grammys that just passed, or the VMAs?
Was it the Oscars?
The Oscars, was it?
What with the movies? The Oscars are the movies, right?
It was like music. It was a music award.
Grammys.
The Grammys.
The
Okay,
Grammys.
yes, it was, because I remember Beyonce. I was like, it was the Grammys. It was a news report, I think from, I'm not gonna say because we're not slandering, but there was a young woman who was a news reporter, and she was just kind of interviewing artists, and there is an artist. Yeah, I know.
I don't know this. Which one?
It was actually interesting. It's this artist, Babyface, right? It was Babyface, and Babyface has been in the music industry since forever. Like, he has been behind some of the top hits. Like, we owe a lot to him. We owe a lot to him. And so I guess the reporter didn't know who he was. And so in the middle of giving him an interview, you know, she's like kind of cutting him off, and she's like talking to other celebrities, and, you know, she's going off camera.
She goes, Chapo, Chapo.
Chapo, yeah, she goes, Chapo, Chapo. And, you know, and he absolutely, God bless his heart. Like, I think this is an example of why, also as a Black person, why we need like media training. Because if he would have responded any other way, because he was very respectful. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna go, but you have a good time. And then he left quietly. But that is a reason to crash out. Honest, like, it's like seeing Beyonce and being like, whatever, who's that in the back? Like, you have Beyonce in your face, you know?
Right.
Like, this is someone influential and this is your job. But that's another way I feel like in media when the disconnect happens.
Yeah,
But
makes sense.
that was fun. That was fun. You know, talking about the Grammys and the different awards.
Right.
But
I watched that and I was so shocked. Mid-sentence, Chapo, Chapo.
Yeah, I didn't never know about that. That's crazy.
yes, unfortunately, the young woman did receive a lot of backlash, rightfully so. Because even if she didn't know who he was or his contributions, it's about media representation. We talked about film. We talked about the different tropes.
Social media platforms?
Yes, social media platforms. So I am chronically online. I would be honest. I am chronically. I could almost say I have my disassociation degree. It's like, be right back, guys. I'm getting my disassociation degree. Honest. and so being on social media, you know, I do consume a lot of different things. Like, you know, as I would assume we all do. We see a little bit of real-time media. We see a little bit of niche content that we like to consume. And then, you know, we see the general public. Not interested. Reality can't seep in. But one thing I've noticed, like, especially with a lot of mutuals or smaller content creators, that there is a lot of censorship. And this is a very broad topic because it's not just about Blackness. It's also about disability. It's about just what it means to be a person of color, to be Black or brown or indigenous. You know, there is like a sense of censorship going on. And so a lot of words are ran through an algorithm, even if they are not harmful, even if the content creator's intent is to bring awareness, the media tends to kind of suppress it a bit. And so after it's kind of all filter out, a lot of small creators get shadow banned. And especially the ones who do get shadow banned, like, they tend to be kind of activists. They tend to be active on different platforms, and they try to spread as much information as possible. And, you know, I'd say a lot of us do have the ability to think critically, and we do have the ability to cite our sources and, you know, and fact check everything. And so we see where the link is coming from. We see the information that's being provided. And so after, like, you know, their content is spread out on their platform and it gets plenty of shares, that's when the censorship kind of tends to come in. I feel like the internet, everyone does have a place on the internet, but when we have, again, kind of like that algorithm, or we have a company that tries to filter out certain information, yes, it does suppress, like, especially like strong hate groups and a lot of harmful content, but it also does suppress small content creators and those who are like politically aware or who are advocates, especially like during like the Black Lives Matter movement. I don't know if you guys were like super on the internet or online at that time.
I was. Like,
what stood out to you? Like,
it changed my life. Like, being on the internet during 2020, like, it radicalized me. Like, there was a thread someone made, like, May 25th, and they kept track of all the police brutality that happened at police brutality protests. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, by the end of the year, in November, the thread had like over 900 individual examples of police brutality at police brutality protests. And I'm like, okay, there's no going back from this. Like, the system has been exposed for what it is. Yeah.
Like, that is the importance of media and the roles it plays, like the role it plays in our life and how it shifts the public perception. Because for a lot of us, like, I'll be honest, during 2020, that absolutely radicalized me as well. Police brutality, it wasn't a secret, it wasn't something that was rare or unheard of. It's been around.
It's just
but-
without cameras.
Exactly, we didn't have cameras. The people were not empowered. We didn't know how to protect ourselves, and we rely on the police. They are the police. They are security.
You're supposed to protect.
To protect us. It's in it's in their little logos and mottos. So what happens when the very system, the very members of them, the police officers, when they're the ones doing the harm, it creates that.
Yeah, but it's not really a contradiction because they don't have a legal duty to protect us. They never have. They protect property, and that's what they're here for. And so that's what them beating down the protesters illuminated. And another thing that stood out to me, one of the videos I saw of them guarding like trash cans full of food that have been dumped out. Like, that's kind of crazy. But
It's actually kind of sickening, During that time, I did hear often, one bad apple doesn't spoil the bunch, and I kind of enjoyed it. Like, I enjoy the public discourse. I live for the drama. And I'll be honest, I was not neutral. I was like, what we're experiencing is symptoms or symptomatic effects of a broken or sick system. It's like kind of putting band-aids over foundational issues, over infrastructure issues. When the building itself is decrepit, we can't give it the landlord special. We can't just put a new coat of paint on it and expect, this is what's gonna work. No, like we have to look beneath it. What is molding? What is rotting? Is water being trapped between the crevices of it? And so I feel like that is really representative of the system, and those who are within it, so they do, I guess, protect, especially like you said, property like that. They make that clear. I can't say how many times I've just been at a park, or I'll be honest, private areas, and I'm just sitting, I'm like, can a girl cry? I can't cry. Like, do you want me to cry and crash, or pull over and cry? And being told, private property, you gotta go, you gotta leave. It's like, I'm the only one here, and it's like such a random hour.
Like, I'm just chilling. Like, what do you want?
Like,
My own business.
I'm not doing anything but crying. Is that a cry? Is crying a cry? But yeah, I think since, especially like the height of police brutality, since the sadly killing of Breonna Taylor,
yes,
and so many, oh my God, so many other instances like that, I think it really did shake the community. I feel like there's always been some kind of division, but I feel like this really changed everything. I feel like that's when we really it became like a us versus them, or a black versus white type of thing. And I know we want to move as a unit, we want to move as a whole, but it requires everybody's, participation. It's like we need from the police acknowledgement, from politicians, from government, from those in positions of power. We need them to show solidarity, and so, and even on the when it comes to Black community, it's like I've seen this too many times where it's like a thing of blame. And my favorite sociologist, his name is S.E. Miller, and he talks about within society there's really two branches. There's the there's a blame, the internal blame, where it's like individual blame, and then there's like a systematic blame or systematic powers. And so he really tries to explain when something is an individual problem versus like a whole problem or societal problem. For example, when we think about like the distrust between, the Black community or brown community and the overall public, a lot of people would say, oh, well, to people of color, it's like, well, if you stop committing crimes, then you wouldn't be targeted. Or if you just complied, then you wouldn't be, a victim to it. And that's when it's like, okay, let's change perspective. There's nothing you can do. We've seen countless stories of people saying, I showed my identification, my hands were not on the wheel, and they still lost their lives. That's not an individual problem anymore. It's what's happening. And, when they talk to these officers, it's like, oh, I got scared. And, I freaked out.
Yeah.
So, like, your only choice is to pull out the weapon and, like, what?
Right? And, yeah. But do you have any thoughts?
Like, when it comes to police being so quick to shoot, like, that's literally how they train. Like, they go through, like, training where they're like, you have to be afraid, like, everyone is out to get you, so you have to get them before they get you. Like, they're literally trained like that, like, police departments all across. I read it, like, a while back. It's insane like that. And then when you were talking about, like, individual problem, like, another thing that the BLM protest got through to me was that people are really racist. Like they watched the video of George Floyd. Oh, and racists are so obsessed with George Floyd. Like, it's so weird. Like, on Twitter, I don't know if you're there, but they make like weird edits of him, and he's like a weird meme.
I was like, why are they doing this?
Yeah, but
Like, a lot of AIs open. I'm like, I mean, thankfully I don't have Twitter. I deleted it like a long time ago, but it's just like I saw like one and I think it's somewhere on Instagram. I can't remember where, and I was just like, what is it? Why is this circulating? Like, what is this? I feel like it's so disrespectful. I don't know.
Thank God I haven't seen it since Elon bought X, or formerly known as Twitter. I had to get off.
Same. I deleted it right away.
it's so
So scary.
Like
It's so, like, I don't know if it's just me, but I think maybe because I haven't been on it, my algorithm and feed is kind of like messed up. So I remember I went on there once, and immediately it was like video of people dying. I was like,
Dog.
like there was no censorship and a lot of corn, and a lot of racist tweets. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I think when the whole election was happening, my algorithm was pushing a lot more with like the Republican side.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I deleted. I was like, I don't want to see that. Not part of
Exactly.
this. No thanks. So it was just even the more like I dismissed it. I was like, no, I'm not with that person. I'm not voting that person. No, it's just like it kept popping up. I'm like, okay, that's it. So I just deleted my Twitter from there.
Same.
I think I've done a decent job in cultivating my space online, but there's times where the most rancid takes infiltrates my perfectly curated feed, and it's like, Jesus, how did we get here?
God.
Oh my, and the amount of, like, I can't even, this podcast is gonna get obliterated if I share some of the usernames that are still allowed on Twitter. Like, it's so bad, like, N-word, like, oh my God.
Yes.
Like, what? And then when you report it, they're like, no, this does not violate the terms. Meanwhile, like, things like cis get censored on X now, I think.
Like, you know what? I can't. I wanted to ask, has anyone noticed within, since the whole TikTok ban and then it being gone for like 2 minutes and then coming back, has anyone's algorithm ever been the same? Like, do you feel like it's still similar, or do you notice like anything different? Like,
I talked to you about my mom's one. Like, maybe it's because she's not like active, but even then, that's kind of like crazy. Like, the default one is republicanism. Like, that's Trumpism. That's crazy.
had to go on a blocking spree. I blocked Meta, Elon Musk, all of them. Jeff Bezos, Facebook guy. Mark?
That's his name, right?
Mark Zuckerberg. Yes, you're right. I had to block all of them because my For You page, like I said, it was very curated. I don't play when it comes to my TikTok. I live on there. And so I've been seeing a lot of dancing. I don't... I'll see it in an ironic way, and I'm like, okay, this is cute. We're making fun of what's trending. But, like, seeing what's actually trending, okay. And then I've just been seeing really random videos, It's like I'll see something, normally, like, I'll get, like, a video about, like, I don't know, dogs. But instead of just dogs, it'd be someone talking about, hey, this is my dog, and it's like, great, now that I got you here, let's talk about da-da-da-da-da. But, like, it's not the hot take that I think it is. So I'm just like, okay. I don't know. Maybe people are getting smarter. Maybe people are realizing, like, oh, we're getting blocked. Let's unblock. Like, I'll unfollow Trump. Or unfollow. Oh, my God. No, I blocked Trump. Please, give me obedience. I know, like, I I block Trump, but then like he'll be unblocked, or like
That's weird.
I'll follow certain creators and then I'll go back and I'm not following them, or other creators where I'll be following them but I've never followed them. Like I don't know if it's just me, but I've seen a few other people talk about it. Like it's so strange. I almost feel like this isn't my home. It's like someone coming into your bedroom and kind of slightly changing things.
Yeah. Unfortunately, TikTok has been sold. Like, it's not confirmed yet, but it has been sold. Because TikTok hasn't been, like, unbanned. It's a temporary unban until it gets sold to an American company. So, that's probably the reason. It's probably already been sold to an American company, aka Meta.
But don't they own like everything now? Like I see them
Meta, Instagram,
right?
Facebook. Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of scary to think about.
It is, because like
I think
seeing.
they kind of brainwash us.
Oh, they
Internet safety is like more important than ever, and it's more than not falling for scams. It's critical thinking, and it's also taking time to understand where other people are coming from, not being quick to dogpile them. You know, there's lots of discourse even with the progressive community, and it's just very upsetting to me. Like, they're making good points. I'm understanding where a person's coming from, and I fully agree with their points. And then you just see so-called leftists dogpiling on the person who's often a person of color, right, and strawmanning their argument. And I'm like, that's not what they're saying. Like, there's like a quote where I don't even remember the quote, but it's just so easy to hate on something, and it's harder to, love something. It's harder to take time to understand something. And it's also, misinformation is so rapid. Like, even things that are like harmless, like there'll be videos going around online and they'll have like a whole different story from what actually happened. And so you need to like think, now you need to question everything, especially with AI. Like, did this thing actually happen? Are these people even real? Yes, that's... Yeah.
Absolutely. To kind of go back to your first point, when you said within like the progressive movement, have you seen the meme where it's like the oppression Olympics, and it's like when you're showing up to the oppression Olympics and you're like the competition is like the black
Polyamorous
amputee black hijabi one? That I feel like you made such a great point when it comes to just embracing each other's like differences. And when we talk about when it needs to be progressive, it kind of does become like this competition of like who has the worst, or sometimes when it comes to what creators, they'll use their disability in order to escape accountability, especially when women of color, trans women, black women, just anybody that has a marginalized identity calls them out. And so I feel like you made such a great point with that. And then also what you mentioned now, just about like staying safe and protecting yourself. It's like, did it happen? Are those screenshots real? Are you able to cite those sources? Is it credible? I think it's fair to properly assess someone based off of the public information you're able to gather on them. Yes, we don't know a lot of these, like, especially celebrities. We don't know celebrities or other people we follow on the internet personally, but I think it is fair to say, like, okay, this is like what they tend to post on. This is like their political views or their ideologies, and safely come to the conclusion, like, if this person is safe, if what they're sharing is safe, if do they are they authentic? Just like another way to kind of gauge, because I know it's not cut and paste. Like, I know it can be a little bit tricky, but
yeah, that's... What else? It's also questioning the media. Like, with misinformation, like, people will do, like, racist, like, will try and generate racial vitriol by creating, like, false stories based on something that happened, and then, meanwhile, the context is, like, entirely different. But anyway, you need to question the media and question what they're telling you, because, like, this administration, they'll tell you anything, but is it actually true? You need to do your own research, and you need to question everything. And you need to read up on history, and not history as told by the oppressors. The people's history, if you will. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. When we talk about where this information is coming from, like I feel like someone made a great point. It's like based off of the content you're consuming. Also pay attention to like your body. How do you feel? And I'm saying this specifically in reference to like rage bait content. We're seeing now people will intentionally create discourse, in order to get in engagement, to get a reaction. We're finding out more. That's like the type of content that people tend to kind of click on or share or post or have, reactions to. And so we're going to see a lot more, it does fluctuate. So I think also part of staying safe online is also making sure you're physically safe, that when to take breaks, that to do like the social media detox, when to step back, to set timers, set limits, go through the filter out your feed, don't be afraid to click not interested or block.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, click that not interested, preserve your peace, no, pick your battles, okay, because it's not worth it oftentimes. So, and is the internet really a good place to even have discourse, productive discourse? Not really, no. So, you gotta worry about that. Yeah, protect your space.
Absolutely. I think maybe this is an overstatement, but I guess the way I see media, I see it a lot like the natural elements, like water or fire, that it can be something really useful, but it can also be very destructive if we're not careful. We can harm ourselves and or others, or harm entire ecosystems or entire movements and entire spaces on the internet. I feel like there is a space for everyone, but I think it's about engaging critically, being safe, and being careful of what we repost, what we share, what we say. I think people think they hear free speech and run with it. It's but let's do it in a safe way. We don't want to promote harm. We don't want to promote danger. We don't want to put anyone at actual risk. And then we also want to take care of ourselves. And so I think it's really important because of social media. We had things like the Black Lives Matter movements. We had things like Me Too. We had a lot of good come from it. We've had spaces on the internet where people can be vulnerable and people can share. But it's also about balance, because when we're on it too much, we kind of forget that we live in reality. We live in the real world. Everyone doesn't talk like how they talk on the internet.
Yeah.
The internet, despite it being so vast, it can feel so small sometimes, and it can feel very suffocating. So taking care of yourself is crucial. It's crucial. So yeah.
It's more important than ever that Black people look out for each other, and we make sure that none of us get left behind. And it's including when you hear of an opportunity, tell your friend, make sure no Black kid is left behind. No, not that. Make sure that no one is left behind. And it's very important because, these industries, they won't put Black people, they'll choose a unqualified white person over a very qualified Black person. And so you as a Black person in an industry, you have to put others on. You can't leave others behind. And then there's such thing as networking up. I think Issa Rae said that one. Yeah, she's so it's networking across your peers, building those connections. Yes. Thank you for watching.